Okay. So tonight we're going to learn how you can participate in Chelmsford's Bags to Benches Challenge to collect 500 pounds of plastic bags and film by October 22nd. Tonight we're going to learn about what type of plastic can be recycled into a lovely new bench for the town of Chelmsford, and there may even be a discussion that you can participate in about how about where that bench should actually go. And then we'll have a discussion afterwards. If you have any questions for Rebecca after the program, please send those to the chat and I will help her to read through those after her presentation. We've got a few videos here for some more information about the program and also how waste management works. And then I also just want to make sure that everyone knows that how much work Rebecca does for this program. She comes to the library at least once a week to empty out the donation container, which is in the foyer. When you initially enter the library, it's just to your left. So if you have bags to drop off, once you learn about what bags you can donate, you can go ahead and drop them off in that container, and Rebecca takes care of all of it. So we really appreciate all of the work you do, Rebecca, and thank you so much for joining us online to help us to learn more about this.
Okay, thank you so much, Jess, for your lovely introduction. And all I have to say is I'm not alone in this, and there's at least one other member of the recycling committee that I saw on, and it takes a village. That's all I can say. And it's an ongoing process. So we're going to talk about recycling, and we're going to start with I'm part of the Chelmsford Recycling Committee. And let's see. The Chelmsford Recycling Committee has a mission, a stated mission of reducing the volume of solid waste generated in the town of Chelmsford. And this is important because we pay by the ton to have our trash hauled away. So the more that's put in the recycling, the less money we have to pay to have it towed away. And so we're really trying to promote waste reduction, reusing, repairing, and composting. More to come on the composting at some future date, because we're trying to get a program going in Chelmsford for curbside composting. And we have an open position. So if you're interested in recycling, you can go to the town website and volunteer to be on the recycling committee. And so we subscribe to the old 3 R's, the reduce, reuse, and recycle. And there's more R's these days. It's also, you can refuse, try to not get so much stuff. We all have stuff. And repurpose, repair, and rot refers to composting. So it's not, like we're sitting here letting things rot, but we do want them to compost. So the first step is what happens to your curbside recycling. So our fun little logo that we just recently had developed for the committee with the ubiquitous recycling bin that hopefully all of you use and love goes out to your curbside. But what should go in it? So this is an example of what happens to recycling when it leaves your curb, because our recycling hauler is waste management, and the recycling all goes to a MRF, which is the materials recovery facility. So it's where they take material that's put in the bin and recover it for sale.
Waste Management is on a mission to drive environmental performance with solutions that manage and minimize waste, recycle valuable resources, and create clean, renewable energy.
They say one man's trash is another man's treasure, and here at Waste Management we really believe that that is true. we've really had a shift in our mindset where people historically used waste as trash. Now we really view waste as a resource, and it's a material that we need to manage and find innovative uses for. Single stream recycling really makes it much easier for the consumer or the user to do it on a daily basis. So whether you're a resident or at a commercial property, really all you need to do is put your paper, your plastic, your metal, glass, cans, all in one container, and our facilities will do all the work.
It's hard for me to come with any reasons why not to do single stream recycling. The more people know about what we do, the better and the easier it's going to be to recycle. And that's the goal. Send it this way and we'll take care of the rest.
By making recycling easier, single-stream systems can boost recycling participation rates by over 50% and make the recycling collection process simpler and more efficient for residents, municipalities, and commercial customers. The Philadelphia Material Recovery Facility in Northeast Philadelphia exemplifies our commitment to recovering the value in waste. The 60,000 square foot facility was constructed using sustainable building and design techniques, which meet the LEED Silver certification standards of the U.S. Green Building Council. This innovative single-stream facility can process and sort more than 20,000 tons of recyclable newspaper, cardboard, aluminum, glass, and plastic each month, equal to the weight of 261 Boeing 737s. Customers who purchase recycled materials want them to be free of contaminants. They don't want plastic or metal mixed in with their paper, or paper mixed in with the plastic they've ordered.
The expectation is that we should be close to 100% purity in the materials that we're sending to our customers. We expect our machine to give us 95% of the quality. The extra 5% we do manually. We have all this technology, but at the end, our employees make the difference.
So let's examine the single-stream separation process and how people and technology together produce a quality end product. A truck containing mixed recyclable materials arrives at the processing facility. After being weighed and recorded, the contents are emptied onto the tipping floor. The recyclables are loaded onto the main feed conveyor, which directs the material to several different sorting areas. In the first area, large rigid plastics, such as toys and buckets, are separated for baling and sale to plastic markets. Non-recyclable materials are discarded into the trash. The materials continue on to a series of disc screens. This specially designed separating equipment consists of rotating discs that push cardboard over the top. Larger pieces of cardboard are sent to a second conveyor for another pass to remove contaminants, and then to the baling process. Material that falls between the disc screens moves to the next sort area called the combination news screen, where paper materials are separated from household bottles and cans. The first section removes most of the newspaper, advertising inserts, and office paper, which is filtered onto a processing line, where any materials other than paper are manually removed. This product automatically falls into the final bunkers, which, when filled, is fed into the baler and prepared for customer pickup. The pre-sort and newspaper conveyor stations contain a series of air vacuums. These allow plastic bags to be removed from the line and sent to a separate bunker. Disc screens have sorted out paper and cardboard. What's left, steel, glass, plastic, and aluminum, is directed to a glass breaker to remove glass, and then to a paper magnet to remove any remaining paper and film plastic from the container stream. The glass is transferred by conveyor to an inside storage bunker. The containers exiting the glass breaker then pass under a magnet that removes all steel cans for baling. The remaining materials, primarily plastic containers and aluminum cans, are then passed under an optical scanner to remove light plastic containers, such as soft drink bottles. The remaining containers pass a manual sort station where additional heavier plastics are captured. These include clear plastic containers such as milk and juice bottles, and colored containers such as liquid detergent containers. These products are also separated for baling. What's left, cardboard juice cartons or non-conforming plastics, pass under another optical scanner for removal. The remaining material goes through a magnetic field known as an eddy current to remove the aluminum, which is blown into a material storage bunker for baling. Any remaining material not repelled by the eddy current goes to the waste line for transfer to a landfill or a waste-to-energy facility. At Waste Management, we're constantly on a mission to extract more value from the materials we manage and at the same time, improve the environment of the communities where we operate.
When you can go back home and tell your children that what you do and they find it interesting, and not only that, you are actually influencing the future of the planet by doing what we do.
Okay, so that's where your recycling goes. But there are issues if you don't put the right material into your curbside bin. And the number one issue, and that particular facility was in Philadelphia, but the material that is in your curbside bin goes to a MRF in Billerica. And recently, the recycling committee did a tour of the Billerica facility, which is quite fascinating. It's just conveyor belts going every which way, and it's very loud. So you might have gathered that from the video, but they told us when I went on my tour that the number one curbside issue was plastic bags. And this is a picture of a bin from Chelmsford with plastic bags in it. And the reason that plastic bags are a problem, and this was a picture, one of the other group of people from the recycling committee went and took this picture because the line had stopped. The plastic bags and plastic film can get caught up in the machinery of all those conveyor belts that you saw in that video. And that can cause the line to stop. And it also can break the equipment. So then they have to wait until the particular line gets repaired. And that is one of their biggest problems, is various items that get tangled up in the production process lines. So that's why this is called the trouble with Tanglers. So if you can't put them in your curbside bin, what do you do with them? So one of the things, like what they said, if they do get the bags and they get passed along through and they don't break the equipment, they go to a landfill. At least our MRF, Waste Management MRF, that's what they do. There's a landfill in New Hampshire, and that's where they end up going. And you know about plastic in landfills, it just doesn't seem to ever go away. And if you put them in your trash, then they go to Covanta, which is where our trash goes, and it gets burned and turned into electricity, but it can release some toxins into the atmosphere. So neither one of those two things is terribly ideal. So here's another thing that we can do with them. The Chelmsford Recycling Committee is running a Bags to Benches challenge in the community program. And I want to have a shout out to Kristen, who's the member of the committee that is initiated this and organized it and is basically running the program. She's done a lot of work on this, and it's really quite an interesting program. And at the end, if we collect 500 pounds of plastic, and we are well over 300, so we're well on the way, because we had 6 months to collect it, and we started on Earth Day this year in April. And so that's why the 6 months would take us into October, but I suspect we're going to get there well in advance of October, since we're moving along at a good clip. So here's a little, some information on the Bags to Benches program.
Engaging in our communities and educating future generations is so important in today's world. At Trex, we have the opportunity to focus on both by diverting plastic film from landfills and teaching our kids about recycling. Introducing Next Trex. Thanks to our programs, we can help promote and educate the public on how we recycle plastic film packaging into beautiful Trex outdoor living products. Trex is excited to offer 2 challenges held locally across the United States. Our School Challenge is where schools across the nation compete to recycle the most film. The schools are grouped based on region and enrollment. In addition to providing the students with an understanding for plastic film recycling, Trex will donate a bench to the winning school in each group. All schools receive an honorary award for completing the challenge. The first step is to visit trex.com/recycling and click on Trex Recycling Programs. Here, you can view participating retail locations for plastic film drop-off and register to participate. Assign a school champion volunteer to manage the collections for the program, or perhaps assign an entire class. You will receive your program kit that includes bins, posters, and magnets for the students. The magnets show examples, and here are 3 quick ways to make sure your clean and dry film can be accepted. Number 1, check to see if the packaging is labeled with a 2 or 4. If so, it can be included. Number 2, see if the packaging will stretch when you pull it. If so, it can be included. Number 3, is the packaging shiny or making a crinkly, crunchy sound? If so, it's unfortunately not acceptable. Position the bin and consider how close it is to a trash receptacle to avoid contamination. We recommend using a large, clear trash can liner so that quality can be monitored during the collection. Once the collection is full, please weigh the amount to be entered into your monthly total. We suggest using either a bathroom, fish, or luggage scale. Please plan to drop off the bag of bags inside the collection bin at your participating drop-off location. Stores prefer frequent and smaller amounts, so please contact the store ahead of time for larger amounts. Track your pounds and enter them monthly in our portal at my.trex.com. You can start in September with full tallies due by April 15th. Winners are announced by Earth Day, April 22nd. Our community challenge works in a very similar way to the school challenge. Please register on our website and pick a 6-month period to gather a minimum of 500 pounds. Collect, weigh, and drop off your bag of bags inside a participating retail bin. Weigh and record the amount you recycle monthly at my.trex.com. Once all plastic film collections have been baled at the store or store's warehouse, the material is shipped to one of our Trex manufacturing plants, proudly located in the United States. The material is processed into our premium outdoor living products, such as Trex composite decking and railing. Next Trex, you can now relax knowing that you have helped your community do their part in giving plastic film packaging a next with Trex. Engaging in.
So this is, we're participating. Like I said, shout out to Kristen Champagne, who's been the point person on our bags to benches. I am the lowly volunteer that goes to the Adams Library. Also Lee Williams, who's I noticed had signed up for the presentation, is in the presentation, is helping all over the place. But my main experience has been with the Adams Library. And as Jessica was stating, it's just inside the main door. And you have the food pantry donation drop-off box on the right side, and our drop-off bin is on the left side. And there's also a drop-off bin at the senior center, should you live in the north end of town, and that's just inside the main entrance. And also Town Hall on Billerica Road, and that's down on the lower level besides the recycling table, where the batteries and such are. So we're getting close. We're over 300 pounds, and I'm ready to stop making my trip to the library be involving lots of plastic. But once we're done, you can still take plastic bags and film to participating retail stores. In fact, after we weigh things, that's what the volunteers on the recycling committee are doing. we're taking them to participating stores and dropping it off in their bins. So where, might you ask, are those stores? Well, these are all the ones in Massachusetts. Notice most of them, all the grocery stores in Chelmsford are on this list: Market Basket, Hannaford's, and Stop and Shop. So, and plus a few more, depending on where you do your grocery shopping. And you also, in New Hampshire, Market Basket, Hannaford, Stop and Shop, and Shaw's are also on the list. So all of these participating retailers should have a bin someplace in their store, generally near their doors. I know, or near where you recycle the bottles and cans. So it depends. Every store is in a different place. So I've learned the stores that I tend to go to. I know where their drop-off bins are. And hopefully when different stores have different times when they're not as full, because we're dropping off a fair amount of plastic at a time. And so then once it's dropped off at the stores, where does it go?
These days, recycling plastic bags is practically second nature. Most people know the harm that plastic bags cause the environment and take care to collect and deposit them at grocery stores and recycling centers. But when it comes to other types of household plastic, do you know what can and cannot be recycled? Hi, I'm Dave Heglis, Director of Material Resources for Trex, the world's largest manufacturer of wood alternative decking and railing. This Earth Day, we encourage you to think beyond grocery bags and recycle other types of plastic film. You'll be doing your part to reduce your environmental footprint and keep these materials out of landfills. The range of recyclable plastics found in your kitchen alone is amazing. Everything from newspaper sleeves to sandwich bags and the wrappings around paper towel rolls can be recycled and transformed into new products. And the list doesn't stop there. At collection centers across the country, a wide variety of polyethylene plastic items can be deposited and recycled, including dry cleaning bags, bread bags, produce bags, furniture and electronic wrap, plastic cereal box liners, diaper wrap, plastic shipping envelopes, case wrap, and all clean, dry bags labeled number 2 and number 4. Many of these recycled items end up here at Trex. In fact, Trex is one of the largest recyclers of polyethylene plastic in the nation. Millions of pounds of plastic, just like the bales here, make their way to our plants in Virginia and Nevada every year. That's enough plastic to fill 67 football fields 3 feet deep. Let's see what other types of plastic are in this bale besides grocery bags. Looks like we have some bread bags, some paper towel or tissue paper, toilet paper overwrap, sandwich bag, a newspaper bag, a paper towel overwrap packaging. We've got a fuel pellet bag and a case overwrap for water. After inspecting each item's materials for quality, our manufacturing process transforms these materials into beautiful, eco-friendly outdoor living products like decking and railing. And our manufacturing process is just as green as our product. Trex's production method eliminates the need for smokestack, and any leftover material is recycled back into the manufacturing line. Trailers are hydraulically powered with vegetable-based oil, and Trex packaging materials are made from recycled paper and plastic. The end result, like this board here, is a product that's not only eco-friendly but durable, low maintenance, and beautiful for years to come. In all our years in the decking and railing business, Trex hasn't cut down one tree to manufacture our products. And we're committed to reusing as smartly as possible, creating innovative new products from not-so-new beginnings. This commitment begins at the local level. We work closely with major national grocery and retail chains to secure recycled materials and sponsor several community-based recycling programs. So the next time you're about to throw out that grocery or sandwich bag, recycle it instead. Together we can make a greener planet. To learn how you can go green with Trex products or start your own local recycling program, visit www.trex.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest.
So the type of plastic that can be recycled in this Bag to Benches program is called polyethylene films. And there's a number of different things that are this constitutes. And I had it very nicely explained to me by a lovely chemical engineer that I met at the library, who is dropping off some material. And he was saying, oh, well, what plastic can go in here? And I was telling him 2 and 4, and he said, oh, the like 5 is also looks like it could, the film, plastic film 5, but it's got multi-layers, it's got multi-material, whereas the 2 and the 4 are a single type of polyethylene, and that makes it much easier to recover the material. So for 2, so anything that has the little recycling symbol with the 2, that's a film, because notice there are solid plastics that have it too. And this is only for film. The solid plastic can go in your recycling bin at the curb. So this doesn't involve that. So the plastic retail bags are generally will have that little 2 on it, which is why people think they can put them in their curbside bin, and they really shouldn't. But bubble wrap, so packaging, newspaper sleeves. So if you get a paper newspaper and it comes in your driveway with a plastic cover on it, that could go to one of our drop-off sites. Then there's low density polyethylene, which is number 4. And again, there can be number 4s that are solid. Those go in your curbside bin, not in our donation box. So no solid, just the film. And some examples of that are bread bags and Ziploc bags and dry cleaning bags. And sometimes, a lot of times, things will have the 4 actually on them. And then if it's a film, you can be assured that you're doing the right thing if you put it in our donation bin. So again, so this is recycle your clean, dry, empty plastic bags and film packaging. So emphasis, clean and dry, no food waste. The bread bags can quite frequently come with breadcrumbs, and that's really not a recycling item. So, and dry, because if you're getting those breadcrumbs out, you might wash it or rinse it out. And so you want to let it dry off, because if you put a wet plastic bag into the bin, it makes everything else wet, and that causes a problem. And also no paper. So these are things that I have actually found inside of various either bags or mailers or whatnot, but receipts, invoices, mailing labels, napkins, please no paper. So what usually can go in the bin? So grocery bags, take your receipt out. Bread bags, dump your breadcrumbs out. Bubble wrap and packaging. Dry cleaning bags and ice bags. So remember, the ice can melt, and so we'd like the bags to be dry. So if you could hang them up somewhere and let them dry out in some place before you donate them, that would be lovely. And then there's more. So there's the plastic shipping containers. And a lot of times these, I've got one here. I don't know if you can see it at all, but Amazon shares. And as long as the envelope is totally plastic inside, plastic outside, because some of them are paper on the outside and plastic bubble wrap on the inside. Those have paper, so that can't go through this program. And the paper labels, it will say remove paper label before recycling. Have you ever tried to get one of those paper labels off one of these mailers? It's like next to impossible. So I just cut it off, and that just is quicker and easier, and it gets rid of the paper, and it also doesn't share your name and address with anybody else in the world that might be looking at this stuff. So Ziploc bags, again, clean and dry. Case overwrap. So if you know how your packaging of paper towels and toilet paper come wrapped in a plastic film, that's recyclable. But please, no paper towel. I got an entire roll of paper towel in the bin one day. So please, not that. And the water bottle wrap or soda bottles wrap, any pretty much anything that is encasing a product. Generally liquids will come in this overwrap. And there's still more. So salt bags, again, no salt, clean and dry. Pallet wrap. So this is one of the things that the grocery stores are doing, because a lot of, and other retailers, a lot of their merchandise comes on a pallet, and the pallet has a plastic film wrap that keeps everything together on the pallet. And so they produce a lot of this waste, and they sell it back to Trex. So that way they don't have the problem of getting rid of it as trash. They have a place for it to go to. And also they can include the material that's being dropped off in their drop-off bins with this, that their pallet wrap that they're sending back anyway. The wood pellet bags, as they mentioned in the video, clean and dry, no pellets, please. Produce bags. And you have to be a little careful with the produce, especially fruit, because some of the fruit comes in what are called plastic pouches, and those are marked with a number 5. Now notice, basically we've said 2 and 4, so not 5 and not 7. And also clean and dry, please. I don't want any of your little carrot pieces. Thank you very much. So what not to include? Been getting a lot of candy wrappers, and that's got a shiny kind of aspect to it, and that can't be used. Chip bags, frozen food bags, frozen food boxes are problems in the curbside recycling too. So if things are frozen, they're treated, I believe, with a material that makes them less available for these recycling processes. Also the pre-washed salad bags, and like those are 5 or 7, and they might be labeled with something like this symbol from howtorecycle.info, which says it's a multi-layer pouch. That typically is what a 5 is, and 7 is other. It's not a polyethylene material. Also mulch, soil, or compost bags, and especially not with, we've been getting some of these and they're coming with the compost or the soil and the mulch in them, which even if we could take the bag, really don't want the dirt. And also pet food bags and bird seed bags. If it's marked with a 2 or a 4, and it's called, the high density polyethylene or the low density polyethylene, if it's clean and dry, it can be donated. But most of the time, the pet food bags and the birdseed bags do not have any kind of identifier on it. And we'll get to, so if you don't know, don't put it in the bin. And compostable produce bags and degradable produce bags are not allowable. So if it says it's compostable, try to find a compost bin to put it in. And the plastic pouches. So when it says multi-layer pouch and the line through the recycling symbol, that means it cannot be recycled. And unfortunately, there's more no-nos, and I have found just about everyone in the bin at the library. It's been quite the experience. So meat and cheese packaging, especially like what I've found a lot of is the mozzarella cheese stick covers. Those really are not appropriate, and they generally have cheese on them. Floral wrap is usually a 5. So if it's a plastic and it says it's recyclable and it's covering flowers, it's probably a 5. Lots of times they're marked, so you need to really look for the recycling symbol. And PPE, please, no, don't. It's considered medical waste, and it's not appropriate for this program. And the 6-pack rings for soft drinks and beer and such, that's not appropriate either. You can cut it up, but that's got to go in your trash. Bedding and linen packaging tends to be much heavier and a lot of times has zippers and such in it, and it's not an appropriate plastic material. And lamination plastic is quite stiff, so that's not the appropriate sort of material either. And then I don't know who would do this, but apparently this is something that's on Trex's site, is to please don't donate this, or vinyl curtains and drapes, pool covers, and backyard ice rinks. That's got to be an interesting thing to find one of those, but please don't put it in the grocery store bins or the retail bins or the bags to benches bins, please. So in summary, you really want to look for the symbols on film. And again, not anything solid. So you want the 2 or the 4, or the how to recycle.info. They have that it's recycle if clean and dry. And I'm going to focus on the clean and dry, please clean and dry. And it says it can be store drop off. So that's bags to benches is involved in the store drop off. We're just monitoring. And it's called a plastic wrap. So again, please recycle your bags, your clean, dry, empty plastic bags and film packaging. Clean and dry, no food waste, no paper, etc. Can't emphasize that enough. I got half a muffin in one of the plastic bags one day. So I want to make a shout out to the Tyngsboro Recycling Sustainability Committee. They shared some of this information on how to test if your plastic film is recyclable. So here's the 3 easy steps. Test 1, is the item 100% plastic? So foil-lined snack bags and paper-lined mailers or paper mailers with plastic lining are not part of what we're looking for. Test 2, can the plastic be stretched? If it can't be stretched or it makes a crunchy sound, that it's probably not recyclable. And that's something I got out of the library bin, so, which is not recyclable. And test 3, you look for the label. Is it labeled 2 or 4? So only polyethylene-based plastics are accepted. Plastics with other markings should go in the trash, unfortunately. It's confusing because they do have the recycling symbol on it. So it seems like it ought to go in recycling somewhere, but no place that we've developed so far. So, and then the final takeaway is, when in doubt, leave it out. And again, thanks to the Tyngsboro Sustainability Committee, they have run this community challenge twice and have gotten 2 benches for their town. So I'd like to stop at this point in time and see if there are any questions or discussion. And
yeah, there are no okay. So the one thing that I do want to know, because I tend to throw all of our plastic bottles and everything into the recycling can. So you're saying that those things are not actually eligible for recycling in general?
No, they're not recycling. They're not eligible for recycling in the bags to benches,
right,
or the grocery store drop off. So this is a problem for them because a lot of people see plastic on the bin and they assume it's any kind of plastic. So they'll put their plastic bottle in there. That goes in your curbside bin.
Okay. All right. Because you were saying throw it in the trash, and that's, I just wanted to make that distinction.
Film. Yeah, the film.
Yeah.
The film.
Okay.
You know, if it's not a 2 or a 4 on the film. And so we're talking, there's the solid stuff, if it's appropriate, can go in your curbside bin.
Okay.
The film and bags can go in either the bags to benches donation boxes, while we're still doing it, because we're getting close to our goal. And once the goal is met, we'll probably remove the bins and have a sign up saying, please take your material to your participating retail store. And
Yeah, well, hopefully we can keep the program going. That would be amazing if we could get a number of benches.
well, we can only get one bench per 6-month period.
Okay.
So like Tingsboro ran 2 6-month programs.
Mhm.
So that's available, and the schools could do the school challenge. That's
Yeah.
something, you know, the eco club at the high school might be interested in doing that at some point. So I noticed there's a question.
There's a couple of questions, actually, a lot of questions coming in.
Okay.
So I'll read them to you if you'd like.
Sure.
So Janine asks, do we need to pop the bubble wrap?
It depends on the bubble wrap. So if it's the little teeny bubbles, you know, the what most people tend to think of as bubble wrap, that no, you don't need to pop all the little teeny bubbles unless you like doing that as stress relief. But the pillows that are sort of big, yes, those should be deflated. So I usually use a box cutter or something to just poke them, and so that they take up less space, because otherwise all that air takes up space in it probably sounds like gunfire if they go into the Trex compression when they go to make their bales. And so it just takes up less space if you do.
And then Mary would like to know, a little off topic, where can I recycle the black food trays, food containers?
Well,
I mean, I just clean them and reuse them.
yes, reusing is always an option, as it is with the plastic bags. You know, people have been saying, oh, but I use the plastic bags to pick up dog poop. Also the salad bags, you know, if you like, I'm a big fan of packaged salads, because it's so easy. You just dump and mix, and you know, there's a really healthy side dish. But those bags are not part of going in the film program or anything. And so, and also they kind of sort of said that they might go through the process at the MRF, because they are technically recyclable material. It's just their scanner has trouble identifying that it's appropriate material. So the problem is, if it goes to the MRF and it gets passed on through, then that's okay. But it might go to a landfill. And if it goes in your trash, it goes to the incinerator. And so, you know, it's kind of like, it's problematic. But the biggest problem is they've automated a lot of the MRF. And so separating plastics, it has a really hard time with the really dark colors. So I don't know if that's helpful, but you can reuse it. That's always an option.
Yeah, it's basically like Tupperware, a lot of them. So Linda would like to know, do you put the Trex recycling in the same plastic bins that you put regular store plastic bags in?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
The plastic bags are all part and parcel of all of the same plastic material. It's just like the Trex guy said, a lot of people know that the grocery bags can be recycled, but they're not always aware that there's all this other stuff that can go the same place that the grocery bags go.
Right.
And this is, of course, just the plastic ones, because Chelmsford isn't, retail stores are not supposed to distribute plastic bags in Chelmsford. So paper bags don't go in these bins.
Right.
It's
Of course.
just for plastic.
And Janine wanted to clarify, if we meet 500 pounds in October, can we start another in December? Or do we have to take a 6-month break and then start
No,
another one?
I have no idea. I just know that I don't know how.
We can have benches everywhere.
what the other people feel like, but it's been quite the job, especially
Okay.
because so much we're running about a 30% or so contamination rate in the donation bins.
Yeah.
You know, about 30% of by weight is inappropriate material.
Right.
So it gets a little time consuming to try to sort it out. and I'm sure some of it, the bad stuff's getting through, and some of the good stuff is I'm not sure what it is, so I throw it in the trash. So it's all a matter of people volunteering to help to weigh and record and document. And Trex is pretty good. They're taking our word for it, you know, but we're trying to be good about, we weigh everything and we try to take out the stuff that we know isn't appropriate. And I have developed a lot of sympathy for what goes on at the grocery stores.
And also we should mention again, as you mentioned in your introduction to the program, that there is an opening on the recycling committee if anyone would like to apply to be a part of this project or other projects, any other projects going on with the recycling committee. You should check out the Town of Chelmsford /recycling committee page.
Yes, and we have open meetings if you want to come, and the agenda is posted to the town website, and we're doing hybrid right now. So if you wanted to come via Zoom and just sort of see what sorts of things we discuss and what's involved in being on the recycling committee, come on by. It's open to the public.
Yeah, they definitely use your help. All right, we've got a few more questions here. I hope you have time tonight, Rebecca. So Christy would like to know, can only 1 in 5 plastics go in curbside? Do other numbered plastics actually get recycled?
I think that's a question for the MRF, and it depends on the particular market at the time. And it's not only 1 in 5 that goes in the curbside if it's solid. They don't want the film. So there are, most plastic bottles are, I think there are 2, but you can have solid plastic bottles, and those need to go in your recycling bin, and they love those guys. You know, the recyclers sort of balked at having one of the reasons we don't have a return fee on plastic bottles is because the recyclers said, no, that's where we make all our money. Don't take that away from us. And it's sort of like, oh, well, because I just as soon see, you know, people have to pay more if they don't do something with it. And so I don't know if that answered the question or not, but
yeah. So Janine would like to know, and what about polystyrene?
Oh no,
yeah, I know,
not this
so
program.
Frustrating.
Everybody wants to know about, you know, polystyrene. Yeah, that nobody was being able to make enough money in recycling that. So we keep looking. Hopefully somebody will come up with a way to do that.
It's pretty toxic stuff. I mean, I think that I think that we should put more pressure on restaurants to stop using it.
Yes.
For takeout.
So, right. Or not buy, you know, don't go to places that
use
that's what they use.
Yeah.
And if it's you know, takeout containers, a lot of places are going to compostable takeout containers.
Well, yeah, I mean, that seems pretty obvious, right? I mean, that or the black trays that you can reuse as Tupperware. And also, oh, Janine, you were talking to me about this actually. Also, can you speak to the plan for composting in Chelmsford?
Oh, okay. Well, we've got a request RFP out for because the way a lot of the composting programs work is the more people that sign up, the cheaper it is. So unfortunately, we don't see the town subsidizing this, although there might be state money if we get the program going. But there are a number of people that firms that do it, that will come to your house. There's Offbeat, which is a minority woman-owned company local in Lowell, and I can't say enough about them. I think they're great. and they will do weekly curbside pickup and give you composting if you want it. There's Black Earth is another one. They will do a community if you get enough people, but they want them to know that it's going to be worth their while. You know, you have to have enough people willing to pay to do it. And we might do a pilot program where there's some subsidization, you know, because the state would really like to get food waste out of the trash stream. It's very heavy and it can, you know, create methane, and it can cause various sorts of problems. So it's costing the town a lot of money.
Composting could be kind of complicated though. I mean, because it depends on whether you're looking to compost to grow food or you're looking to compost to improve the soil. There are certain things that cannot go in compost if you're talking about growing food, right?
There are some things, although a commercial composting business can do more because they get hotter than the backyard composting bin. But we're also, I noticed there was an article in the Boston Globe, you know, just recently talking about PFAS contamination, which is a whole other issue that's a problem at a composting company. But, you know, that I don't believe was because if you're doing it in your backyard, you're not creating PFAS.
And then is this part of Chelmsford's extensive recycling handout we get each year? The more people know what not to what to include and what not to include, the more recycling can occur.
Yeah, well, we don't put everything in the handout because it's an extensive, ever-changing list. So I've got a number. I'm going to see if I can find the chat here. And I'm going to put some useful websites, and one of them is recyclesmartma.org, and that has up-to-date information about what is accepted to various what can go into your curbside recycling. And that and I know
I think
put it in too, and we both got it in. I have the recycling committee website, the recyclesmart.org website, the plastic films recycling.org, which is a nonprofit that, you know, helps people figure out what to do with their plastic film, and how to recycle.info, and that is the company that's trying to give more more informative labeling, because right now, just because it has a recycling label on it does not mean you can recycle it.
Right.
You have to be somewhat judicious in where and what you recycle and how.
And then Kathy also wanted to know, can the town get something other than benches, such as decking materials for town projects like gazebos and parks?
Unfortunately, I don't think so at this point. It's Bags to Benches is the name of the program.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what they'll give us.
It does seem like a really intriguing company though. I mean, it seems a lot easier to take care of than wood. I mean, I understand that wood would be, maybe people really like that, but it does seem like a great project that they have going, a great,
well, it seems like that it's a relatively inexpensive material on their part, and it removes it from the environmental situation and makes it into something that people can use.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then Janine also asked, are restaurants included in the composting and recycling in the town?
They're not included in the curbside and probably wouldn't be included in any composting program that we put together. They're kind of responsible for their own waste. It's just like they have to pay to have their own trash hauled away too.
Yeah. Diane asked, are there any local stores that let you reuse containers when you purchase detergent, etc., that you know of?
I'm not familiar with any of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
No, that's. And then Kathy, the material is fantastic, plus no splinters. Oh, the Trex
Oh, yes,
material. Thank you, Kathy, for that review. That's excellent. So that's all of the questions that we have coming in tonight. Rebecca, thank you so much for this wonderful presentation. This presentation was recorded, so we will send this recording out to everybody. And I will also include the chat materials so that everyone can review those and the links that you shared, Rebecca. And
one last comment. We are trying to figure out where we would put the bench.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And that if you go to the recycling committee website, chelmsfordrecycles.com, and go to the contact us page, you could make suggestions. And what we might do, it has to be someplace that property that the town owns. So we can't just go put it on in somebody's backyard. That doesn't seem quite right. But if the town owns a piece of land, you know, we've been talking like maybe the library could get it, since I'm partial to the library, but the library's got a bunch of benches. So other people are saying, no, it should go to a park, or, you know, so if you have a place that you think a bench like that would be an addition, maybe along the bike trail, I don't know. It's, we're trying to, since it looks like we're going to make our goal and we will get a bench, then where can we put it is one of the next orders of business. So if you have a place that you think it should go, let us know.
Do you have an email address or some kind of contact information that people can
It's
send
on
those
the
recommendations
website.
to? Okay, all right, great.
You know, if you go to the contact us on the website, you can type it in, and the email address is also right there.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Rebecca, so much for your time tonight. It was a great presentation. We've got lots of thank yous coming in here. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Good night, everyone.